Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen, with the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force.
They've outgrown their age of rebellion, dulled the Empire's edge, defeated Imperial generals and the Pirate Queen's dredge. They've been soldiers and scoundrels, what's there left to be? How about lost acolytes looking for their force and destiny? There's a seer, hermit, investigator, and teacher. Better watch your back or a vibro ring's gonna reach you. Will this team find the light or will darkness win the day? Find out with the heroes of the Hydian way.
Previously on Heroes of the Hydian Way, 4 strangers became friends as they embarked upon a journey to gather the missing crystals from Jedi Soldier Ward's holocron. On Arboine, they received one from a fallen learner, but their bonds were tested. Koba and Kesh were willing to take a more terminal action, but Hillary thought they were going too far. Skip intervened for peace's sake, but the party was left with many questions. Now on the way to Cato Nemoidia, they have the moment to consider things. Can they hold their own in a real fight? Will they stand together? What is this whole Force thing, anyway? Spend some time with them this week to see if they pass muster.
Welcome to Heroes of the Hydian Way. This is a Star Wars actual play podcast, and we're playing in Fantasy Flight Games' Force and Destiny system, using the Chronicles of the Gatekeeper adventure as developed by Tim Cox and Max Brook. This is Act 2, Prelude Episode 2, and I'm Ben, the GM for this adventure.
I'm Koba, the Doug investigator, and my weapon of choice is a vibro-rang. It's gotten me out of a lot of pinches.
Which is, I feel, slightly ironic because it's kind of a pinchy thing.
No, it's very sharp.
Well, I am Hillary, I am the consular teacher, and my weapon of choice...
Is it love?
I wasn't going to say that, but now I might need to. I was going to say my sparkling personality and wit, possibly my smile. Ting!
I'm Kesh, the Trandoshan Mystic Seer. My weapon of choice is a blaster. Not buying that anymore. Yeah, me either.
No.
Okay. You know what? It's a throne.
Throne what?
A throne.
That doesn't seem practical. Can't just find those lying around.
But, do you know what it is? Something they'll never see coming.
Yeah. Hey, you said weapon of choice. You didn't say it had to be practical, Koba.
I mean, you do fight with a vibro ring.
Just
case made.
Some of us make bad choices, apparently.
What about you, Skip?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm just gonna have to be boring and say that my weapon of choice is still my tranquilizer rifle, because it's kind of gotten me out of a lot of situations at this point. Especially gotten us as a group out of situations where we didn't have to do lethal damage. But I'm Skip Goby, the Kalaren Secret Hermit, and I should probably try to be more interesting.
I just wanted to illustrate that no one in this crew, except maybe me, is ready to deal with things when the shooting starts.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe we should try to keep the shooting from starting. Maybe.
Tranquilizer rifle.
All right, you want to fight, Koba?
Shouldn't I be starting the shooting?
I can take you.
I think Koba's just starting things.
Maybe in the
general.
cargo bay in 15 minutes, all of you.
To learn more about our heroes, we get one to ask another question. And now it is Hillary's turn.
Okay. I know this is very out of the blue, and I feel I don't know much about you, my friend, and I'd like to remedy this, but there's this barrier between us. So, this is a very simple question. And feel free to turn me down. That's perfectly fine. I won't be offended. But, Gudge, would you like a jammy dodger? Very good. I think they're pear-flavored.
So the camera picks up. It's looking at a corridor on the silvered shell. You can pick up the hint of the swirl of hyperspace through the top viewport of the ship. As it continues down past the lounge area, heading down the path between the two cargo bays, and we turn into the left cargo bay. There, we can see, set up very close to the cargo bay door, our acolyte of the scorekeeper painting her armor and modifying it to suit her tastes, with some weirdness going on in the background, really.
Yeah, we can see the, blackish gray that Markov had the armor painted, or probably it's the natural armor color, Kesh is painting over with a deep burgundy red. You see she's got out a knife and a few tools and different things, and as she's adding another stroke of paint, she calls out, "Hillary, you're supposed to be carrying the sword, not the sword carrying you."
Well, I feel that would be all well and good were it not several inches taller than I am.
I mean, we can fix that.
We can fix a lot of things by putting it back on the wall where I had it.
Swords aren't unbreakable.
Maybe we save the swords for, I don't know, a little later.
You told us to bring our weapons, so I brought my weapon, and here I am.
I'm just concerned about making sure everybody is ready for anything. Cash seems to think she already is, so I guess it's just the two of you. Assuming Skip showed up.
Yeah, I'm standing right here.
Yeah.
Maybe he meant metaphorically. Like, are you here in spirit as well? Because I'm not.
I was just her figuring Skip had stepped up in behind Koba and then spoke, giving the great bit of, "Oh geez, you're there."
I like that, yeah.
Now, Skip, I know you're a very good shot with that air rifle.
Thank you.
But we won't always have the luxury of that kind of range. And Hillary, I don't know what you can do, so I guess we'll start from square one. Can either of you throw a punch? Like a decent
I can throw
punch?
many things.
I don't know.
Wow, you got a lot of work to do, Koba.
Yeah.
Brawl checks against Koba right now.
All right.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, less Koba has melee defense. It's going to be 2 purple.
He does not.
Guess what? So, Hillary is like, you want me to throw a punch? I'll throw a punch. But let's be honest, that's not his functionality. So he goes to throw a punch, and because he has the sword on his back in a really awkward kind of strap situation, he overbalances and actually does a half twirl with a fail and 2 threat, landing against the stack of crates so that one side of the sword is caught on the crate, one side is caught on the floor, and he's kind of dangling half upright.
All right, your balance was all off.
Oh, so you noticed that, did you? Flail.
Skip saw all that and is kind of giggling, and then does one of those sort of like shoulder punches at Koba, you know, like when you're like pounding around with someone. It's just shoulder punches Koba, and because I got 1 success on my roll, it ends up being actually quite hard. And Skip says, "So you're already really good at teaching."
Ow. What's your brawn?
3.
Okay. Ow. Little bit of that would get through.
Oh my gosh.
Not like a lot, but one of it.
Still.
Okay, can you do that when somebody else is trying to punch you back instead of critiquing Hillary's form?
Oh, I have no idea.
All right, I suppose we should probably work on this for a little bit. Cash.
Yes? What?
Can you put All-Star on the CD player?
And we see Cash reach behind her to where this antique-looking music player is plugged into like a wall outlet. And she fumbles a bit with her claws to open up a case and sticks a disc, I'm sure because it's Star Wars, probably the size of a dinner plate, into the top and hits play.
Gain the little laser leader down on top of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Hillary, try to punch me now.
I'm still a little busy.
Hey, Hillary, you wanna have your thumb on the outside of your fist, not the. You know what? You do you. What do I know about thumbs?
Skip. Skip has the height advantage. You should probably go for the knees.
I could also just go by not being in the fight.
You don't always have that option.
And you don't always have to start one.
Look,
Get
we're having a montage. You gotta make measurable progress over the course of the montage.
Okay, take a swing at me.
How many fingers does Hillary have?
I think I'm the traditional turtle style where I have the 3, but with the thumb option.
Okay, I was trying to...
Wait a minute, do Dougs have 5? They have 5, right?
In the picture, Doug Koba has 4.
Okay, so we might be... Okay, so we are also team doesn't have 5 fingers?
Yep.
Okay.
We rock. We're awesome. And alien, and it's great. I would like to do a stupid flippy move to avoid whatever Koba's going to do to me.
All right, yeah, Koba will do a easy-ish swing at Hillary.
I mean, my coordination, I do have a rank. And that is what I'm going into this. I'm not even thinking about fighting. I'm just dodging, but I don't know how you'd want to make that work.
Really fighting defensively is an upgrade.
Yeah.
All right, you guys figure that out. I trust you.
All right. Let's go with an upgrade.
Woohoo!
Koba misses with 2 advantage.
And that wasn't even the upgrade.
Yep.
What's your advantages, real quick?
Let's see. So Koba swings with his arms. He probably punches with his arms because they're the more muscular limb. And doesn't connect with Hillary, but for the 2 advantage, perhaps Hillary is either forced into a corner or forced towards something that might make him trip or something like that.
How about I do a flippy thing backwards, but as I land, I actually hit something that does kind of knock me over, or I fall into Kesh.
I'm trying to work over here. Now there's paint everywhere.
There's paint everywhere. There's paint on me.
This is why we're learning.
And out of spite, Kesh takes the paintbrush and it's kind of dabs Hillary on the side of the face.
Okay. Now that was childish. And he actually just he pats you. Or he doesn't slap you, but he smacks you on the face with his hand, which is covered in paint.
Maybe we move on to blasters.
Are you sure that's a good idea after that demonstration?
Oh no, that'll be easy. I know how to use guns.
Okay, how about you fire them in the direction opposite of me?
Yes, Cash, that's the plan. That's why there's targets over there.
We see Cash goes ahead and moves a couple of crates to form a little bit of barricade around her anyway. Proceed.
Koba gives Hillary and Skip each a blaster pistol of some fairly random shape and size. Now, unarmed combat's all very well and good, but most of the time, we're going to be dealing with people with blasters. And the best way to deal with a person with a blaster is with your own blaster, because far away, right? Or a vibro ring, but that's advanced.
Before Koba can finish the teaching, Skip will just shoot the target.
I don't think that the cargo bay on here could get up to medium, so it's just going to be a easy shot, so 1 purple.
Oh yeah, that was easy, like I said. I got 2 successes and 3 advantage.
What's your advantage?
Is it quick? No, they're normal blasters, so that would actually be enough to crit. Oh no, the target catches fire.
Are your targets on, like, up on crates, or are they just crates that have, like, targets painted on them or something?
They're probably some kind of smaller boxes that have had some kind of target painted on them or marked on them. They might not be like Durasteel crates. They might be like food packaging. I mean, just an excess box of the expired pastries.
This may be like in one of those movies or whatever where someone just kind of shows skill at something unexpected, and maybe so Skip shoots one of the targets, but in such a manner and direction that it actually goes flying at one of the other targets and takes that one out too.
So let's say this Star Wars, you could just do the choo 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 and take out multiples.
Nice.
2 for 1. You're up, Hillary.
Oh, goody. I'm up. And he looks over at Koba and says, how do you hold this? Is this the end you want to point at people? Is this the end you want? How does this button work?
You know which end you want to point at people, Hillary.
Oh, how about I actually use the thing?
I love that the dice are really into this narration.
So Hillary is like, fumble, fumble, fumble. Oh no, what do I do? And then he just gives Koba a flat look, extends his arm, and pachoo, shoots one of the targets down the way. However, he did get a threat. So setting it on fire would probably be technically a good thing if it's a goal, but at the same time... Oh! So he shoots it, and it's what we had for the target that I shot. It was like a crappy old beaten up spacesuit, and as I shoot it, one of the gloves goes flying off and hits Kesh.
I can clearly see I'm not gonna get work done here.
Well, maybe you should help me make sure we don't get killed because half of our group can't defend themselves.
Kesh puts down the paintbrush, stands up, comes out from behind her makeshift barricade, starts to approach. I think Skip has already demonstrated that they can take care of themselves. And I think Hillary's also well demonstrated that he doesn't want to fight.
Well, sometimes he might have to.
Kesh looks down at Hillary and says, he might be right, you know.
Hillary is very confused.
What?
Hillary just was able to successfully shoot a target?
No. He might be right.
Yeah, which he? I actually...
Koba might be right.
Okay, Hillary is less confused. Because Hillary is not thinking, like, Kesh would take my side?
We've already seen that we can be separated. What would you do if someone tried to kill you and you were on your own? Never mind, I can't answer that. You would just talk to them, wouldn't you?
Well, that is a bridge we'll have to come to at the time, and ideally not burn it, but we'll see.
Improvising is not a plan.
I mean, by its definition, no.
Yes, but plans can fall apart. Improvising, however, is flexible.
What exactly are you worried about, Koba?
We're going into another den of, I don't know, scum and villainy and possible Imperial entanglements. Jedi treasure or whatever is not going to be unguarded or undesired by other people who will absolutely kill us if we stand in their way. We were lucky on Arbuine that we didn't have to deal with too many direct adversaries, but that luck's not going to hold out.
Cash nods along as you're talking.
And frankly, if you don't see that, Cash, then you're not quite as experienced as I thought you were.
No, I see it too. I'm trying to listen a little bit more. Wanted to hear your take on it. That's all. All right, how about this, Hillary? Why don't we continue on with this lesson? We'll teach you a little bit more how to shoot, and then with any luck, you won't ever have to use these skills, but if worst comes to worst, you'll have them. Consider it maybe it can be part of a future act, I don't know.
Well, the only reason I can do what I can is because my eldest, he was quite the marksman. That was part of the show. I was one of his targets. It's very impressive. Very, very impressive. Certainly, I will listen, and I will learn. Koba?
Hillary.
As you will.
Skip has just silently been watching this whole thing. He's fidgeting a little bit.
All right, now I got an idea on how to get ourselves a moving target here.
Are you volunteering?
In a sense. And Cash is going to try to reach out with the Force, see if I can't make ourselves a moving target for them to practice on.
Okay. Sure, why not?
Okay, do you want me to actually roll on that?
This one feels like, yeah, it should be a roll.
Okay.
Like, I know it's kind of a gut thing, but yeah.
Come on, light side point. Oh, I did it! I don't have to fall to the dark side today. As I generated one light side pip and one dark side pip, so I'm only going to spend the light side to move a target back and forth within short range, give them something to shoot at.
Actually, I want to get a shot from the three of you, from Koba, Skip, and Hillary.
Can I aim?
You can aim. I'm figuring with it moving around somewhat erratically, it should also have a setback for being wily.
So,
Ooh.
purple and a setback this time?
Yeah, purple and a setback this time.
Oh.
But yes, you definitely can aim.
I'm debating here because I have a talent I could use if I want to be a jerk, and I'm debating on whether Kesh would want to be or not. You know what?
I mean, I spilled your paint and then put paint on your face, and it's probably still there.
Yeah, I would love to do it. Actually, technically, it specifies it's only an NPC skill check for sense advantage. Otherwise, I could have added setback die.
Oh, no, use it. No, I'll roll 2 setback because you're being a punk.
Okay.
Let me roll another one.
Just trying to challenge you a bit.
Was that for everybody or just for Hillary?
Just for Hillary, it's one person.
Yeah.
Okay, so Skip, I got one success. So Skip just cleanly shoots the target.
I'm assuming that Koba, with whatever Koba's doing, is using the fibro rings as opposed to the fiber.
No, I mean, he's probably going to use one of the spare blasters he found.
Oh.
I don't think he wants to fire off a physical projectile or throw a vibro-rang in here.
Oh no, it bounced off the wall and came back at us!
Yeah.
My eye! My eye! My ear hole!
Look, I really didn't need to be losing any more limbs today.
Okay, how'd Koba's shot go?
2 successes and an advantage, so he pretty deftly picks up one of the spare blasters and hits the target squarely.
So on Hillary's turn, suddenly the target that had been bouncing back and forth sedately starts spinning or juking.
So it starts bobbing and weaving a little bit. Gotta keep things challenging.
I'm going to take the strain, and I'm going to aim twice.
Nice.
Oh my.
So Skip takes their shot. Skip takes their shot as things are bouncing back and forth. Just like doom, da doom. And then, good shot. Koba steps up. Slightly nicer shot. Hillary steps up, and it starts going backwards and moving faster. And Hillary just kind of looks over at Kesh. I see. Takes a square stance, holds the blaster with both hands, takes a deep breath and aims. 4 success, 1 advantage.
So I think that's like basically like a bullseye on it. I think for our purposes, it's a shot accurate enough. It like knocks it out of Kesh's telekinetic grip, so to speak, and it falls to the deck. And Kesh turns to Hillary in surprise.
With my 1 advantage, I twirl it on my finger, and I mime holstering it.
You already knew how to shoot.
I don't know where you'd get that idea. If you'll excuse me, I need to go change. And he swans off. Thank you for the lesson, Koba.
Skip is trying their damnedest to stifle a giggle behind their hands.
Remind me, did Skip get a lightsaber also?
Yeah, training saber, yeah.
Alright, Skip.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably cover melee weapons.
Oh, I really don't know how to use
You never know when
those.
you might need to fight with one of
Good
those.
idea, Koba. You carry on, and Kesh is gonna pat you on the back, Koba. She walks away. We can see as an audience there's a bit of a red paint stain on there.
What, you wanna go, Kesh?
I can leave.
I wouldn't want to hurt you, Koba.
You won't.
Fight.
Koba,
Work.
he's not wearing his
Work.
trench coat on the ship, but he's got his vest, I suppose. Koba goes over to where he had set some of the blasters and picks up the training lightsaber he has acquired. I've never used one of these, but I have a few ideas about how it works.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes.
Fine.
Very sure.
Kesh is gonna pick up her staff. She breathes in deep, and as she's approaching Koba, she's going to commit one of her force dice to increase her brawn.
Hey, Koba is going to commit his force dice to Sense, which now both upgrades the difficulty of attacking him and upgrades his attacks also.
Skip is going to go sit down onto a crate with Gudge and pull a little bag of snacks out of one of their pouches and watch.
Rather, I guess Koba probably is committing both of his force rating, one to each of those abilities.
Okay, how are we doing this? We roll an initiative.
Oh, do the duel.
2 people going. Yeah, it's kind of a duel. They essentially happen at the same time.
Okay. I was also asking because Ward's foresight is a thing.
Let's do this more as an actual duel. So,
okay,
the 2 of you are standing there, sort of getting your head in the game. You've got one with their training saber out and buzzing, and the other one with their staff out. You're sort of glaring at each other. You're going with feinting and all that sort of stuff. I'm thinking that you can do like a cool check or something like that to try and like out-feint them, or like a deception check or something. You're essentially rolling things along that line to get who goes first. It's a liberal interpretation of the dueling rules.
Okay. I'm not good at any of those skills.
Well, I'm not either. Well, I'm good at deception.
Use a skill and say how you're using it to gain the advantage over the other. Like,
I love it.
okay, you're using Ward's foresight to figure out how Koba's going to attack. Koba is bouncing off of his hands and trying to do an aerial thing.
Yeah, if Kesh is not inclined to be the aggressor, Koba probably will.
Yeah, here's how I think. Here's gonna be my argument for a skill.
Okay.
It's gonna be vigilance, and
Okay.
my argument for it is what's happening more narratively speaking is Cash is going to take up her stance and wait for Koba to make that move. But then mechanically speaking, whether she attacks first or Koba, it's whether she gets essentially that as he's moving in, she strikes him before he strikes her.
All right.
Sort of the reflex paying attention sort of thing.
Okay. So in that case, I would go with a vigilance versus Koba's agility.
All right, just my pure agility.
If you've got a skill that you'd want to upgrade with, I'd be okay with that.
I don't really, actually, because I don't have any ranks in, like, coordination or anything.
Okay, then yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, it was
Ooh.
actually pretty close because I got 3 successes and 3 advantages.
And I got 2
All right.
successes and 3 advantages.
All right, so canceling all that out, that gets us 1 success. Then I want to get what Koba's going for.
Okay, so as Koba is going in, he starts with the training saber in one of his feet and lunges, but before actually striking, drops the saber to catch in one of his hands to sort of attack from a different angle than it would appear at first.
All right, and what would you be saying that check would be?
Either deception or skullduggery, which are the same pool for me, because they're cunning, so...
All right. Honestly, that sounds more skullduggerous. And if they're the same pool, it's just more me saying which one. I'm still going that would probably go against Kesh's vigilance, though.
Okay.
Sure.
Ah,
I got 3 successes and 5 advantages.
I guess I'll 2 successes and 3 advantages. So not getting around Kesh's vigilance, basically.
no, sadly not. All right, so Kesh would go first.
So as Koba is coming in and trying to feint her, Cash reacts just quicker. It's like she literally saw him coming and saw him doing that before it happened. And she's going to spin the staff around, and she's not trying to really hurt Koba, but she's going to swing at him, just try to see if she can trip him up, make a point, even knowing that's a bit difficult with the Doug.
That would be a normal melee check.
Yep.
Okay.
So Koba has committed a die to the sensibility that upgrades the difficulty of attacks, and also has the strength upgrade of that ability, so it upgrades it twice.
Okay, so
Nice.
2 red then?
2 red.
You're gross, Brandon.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'll go ahead and burn 2 strain aim a little bit.
Seems reasonable. And this
Yeah.
really does sort of sound like a Riley kind of thing.
Ooh, your sense worked wonders as generated 3 failures off of just those 2 red dice. So I ended up with 2 failures and 5 advantages. So I don't think Kesh connects, but she does succeed a bit, throwing Koba off balance. I want to give you a setback die, Brandon,
All
to
right.
your subsequent attack. And with the remaining 3, I'm trying to think, any ideas?
I mean, you could technically disarm him with that, couldn't you?
I think you have to hit to use disarm.
Think
yeah,
you do
I'm pretty
too.
sure that that's the case.
I also don't feel like it's necessarily appropriate to disarm at this point in the competition. So I think then so it's 2 advantages for a setback die. I think 2 more advantages as Kesh is actually going to back away, moving to short range, just to force Koba to have to close the distance again. And then the last one, she'll essentially pass a boost on to, I guess, herself next turn if she gets one.
Okay.
Essentially just reacting fast, tripping up a bit, and then orienting herself, getting ready for the next round.
All right, so Koba, after like sort of flipping away from Kesh's attack, kind of sensing it coming a moment before it would connect, he quickly pivots back into a lunge and comes at Kesh again with the lightsaber. Koba currently still has to just roll brawn with the lightsaber, so that's not great.
Mm-hmm.
But because he has 2 force dice, his other force die is committed to the sensibility that upgrades his attacks twice.
Jeez.
Yeah, sense is gross.
I mean, yeah.
That of course still only ends up giving me 2 yellows total versus
2 purple and technically a setback die for defense. Because I have one
and
from
then
the
setback
staff.
from your
advantage.
Right,
from yep.
So 2 yellows versus 2 purples and 2 setback dice.
And you're losing a maneuver to close back to engaged.
Yep, that's fine. Aww.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Brandon, this is interesting.
So yeah.
This is totally Riley Mako.
Koba ends up with 2 failures, because just a lot of failures. A threat and a triumph.
There were 5 failures in this roll, folks.
There were a lot of failures in this roll. So, man, triumph. So I suspect that Koba's saber and Kesh's staff just clash for a moment. It's, it is what it is. And then, Christine, do you have a preference about what happens with that threat, first of all? Or Ben, really?
I do not.
I think probably just a strain, because
Yeah.
I think Koba is doing most of the running around in this.
Makes sense. So Koba will take a strain. For the triumph, I think since the attack didn't connect, so I don't have access to some of the other stuff either, Koba will probably also just spring back to short range.
Okay.
But get the second maneuver for free,
Okay.
basically, because he hasn't used 2, so that's kosher, right? That's how that works.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
So that he's not the only one having to do a little positioning.
Fair enough. So then over to Kesh. I'm going to try a thing here. I'm going to be a little bit risky to also just be interesting, as Kesh is going to uncommit her force die and use the force as my ally to perform a force power action as a maneuver. She's going to reach out towards that paint can. I guess this is technically a range combat check.
Yeah.
So it'd be what, red, purple, then Brandon? 2 upgrades?
Yep, 2 upgrades.
Okay. And I got 4 successes, a threat, 2 light side, and a dark side. So 2 light side points. She's going to grab up the paint can and bring it over towards Koba. Not looking to do damage, but she's going to pour some paint on him to distract him, as she then is going to move in and try to hit him. Preference for the threat, Brandon?
I would say just strain also is probably the most logical thing for one threat, as, maybe the paint thrown around in the air does kind of get on Kesh too a little bit.
Yep.
There's fumes.
Does make sense, yes.
How do we want to handle 4 successes with paint?
I mean, I'm okay with it essentially being stun damage.
Yeah, that kind of works.
Okay. So you can take some strain then, Brandon.
Yep. I'll just assume that it doesn't. It's just 4 successes and bypasses soak. So
Yeah,
I'm at 5 strain
that makes sense. Yeah.
total.
All right.
As yes, Koba is covered in paint, chokes on some fumes, and looks very upset about this.
And let's try a thing here then.
All right, my turn or yours?
It's
that
still
was a
my turn.
maneuver.
That was only a maneuver actually.
Right.
So I'll move in then. I'm taking a lot of strain myself though.
Well, the good news is, because I have sense high enough, I can use the defensive thing twice per round.
Nice.
It used to
Okay.
be once.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yep.
So moving in, 1 yellow, 2 green now versus the 2 red, but I managed a success and an advantage. So that'll be 7 damage, Brandon.
Yep. No
Oh,
pierce.
and I
assume.
forgot my boost die, actually. I gave myself.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and do that.
for part of this. Okay.
No pierce, I assume.
No pierce. It's a staff.
Yep.
And
Right, so-
yep, and my damage is right because I lowered my brawn back down. So
I'll soak 3, take 4.
okay, yeah, but she just moves in as you're distracted, like hits you hard enough for you to like feel it on your shoulder. I know technically you can't use melee weapons to deliver stun damage, but she's not trying to kill Koba or wound him.
Fair enough.
So hopefully that's cool here. And then with the 2 advantages, I'm going to recover some strain because I'm going to need
it. Yes. All right, so I'm figuring Koba would go then.
Yep. And Koba is going to look for a clever solution.
Nice.
So once per session, he can use cunning instead of something else. So he is going to cunning this lightsaber attack.
Okay.
Since we are already engaged at the beginning of his turn this time, I am going to use a maneuver to aim. Basically, Koba, after taking the hit from Cash, is already looking for a good opening. And once again, Sense is still committed for the attack thing as well. So with cunning instead of brawn, unfortunately, Koba still hasn't... lightsaber is a class skill or a career skill for him now, but he has not had time to actually put any ranks in it.
Okay.
So 2 purples, 1 setback because you have defense, right?
Yep.
But this time there was otherwise nothing else, right?
No.
All right.
No, she's created an opening here. She got cocky. What is with you and the triumphs, Brandon?
I'm very good at what I do.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so Koba, after taking that little hit from Kesh, basically snatches up the paint can with his free hand. Basically, all of Koba's fighting involves using all 4 of his appendages.
I mean,
at all
that's
times.
fair.
So he kind of hops up so that he has a free hand, flings the paint can right at Kesh's nose. Not hard enough to do damage or anything,
no,
but like
not my overly long snout.
it's an empty paint can bopping her in the nose, which gives him enough of an opening to strike with the training saber blade on her opposite side, basically just mid torso. So the damage on that is going to be 7 stun.
Okay. Well, you were lucky because Cash is not wearing her armor. It is over there half painted and will probably end up remaining half painted because I don't think she's going to be able to get any more of this color the way this is going. So 4 will go through. So she is still standing though.
All right. My question is, do we want to continue this until like one of you is on the floor, or is the both of you getting a hit in enough to satisfy your own, I don't really want to say honor, like own sense of worth?
Where are you at strain-wise now, Christine?
I'm at 9 out of 14.
Okay, I'm at 9 out of 11.
So then Koba is closer. I don't feel like I need to end this with Koba on the ground though. I think if Koba backs off or seems to like calm down a little bit or whatever, Cash will follow his lead.
So Koba saws this triumph. I think the thing I would want to do with his triumph, and we can kind of decide if this should be like the end or what, is that in this leap, after striking, he then grabs a hold of Kesh's arm and kind of climbs up her. So he's sort of hanging onto her now. I guess it's sort of grappling, but not to like actually stop her from moving.
Okay.
It's just hard to hit somebody with a staff when they're like clinging to your back.
Dang it, now I feel like we have to go another round.
We could always just
narrate.
Yeah.
I was gonna say zoom in on Skip, who is just getting like slightly splashed with paint and snacking as they watch, and then the viewers never find out who wins.
I mean, that would
We
work.
can find out
I'm
who
fine.
wins.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some show, right?
Yeah, we might as well get, like, knowledge underworld or...
Because we can
core.
set up at the table and Kesh can join us after having cleansed some
Yeah.
of the paint from her person.
That totally works. And then, yeah, just sort of like a final bon mot from Kesh to Hillary would work. Totally.
Difficulty
So-
on the knowledge checks?
I mean, it is kind of an idea. I go with 2 purple and a setback.
Okay.
Most of the stuff everyone remembers is from the Clone Wars, and that was like 20 years ago.
But say, what would lore get me? Anything?
Might kick you history on the place, not so much current stuff. Though, honestly, I'd probably upgrade it to a hard check. Because you're trying to, like, use the lore of the place to figuring out. You get more of how the Nemoidians are and that sort of stuff, but it would still be a harder type of thing.
Okay. I mean, I think I'll go that way anyway, just because that's legit the only skill I have that would be remarkably helpful at all. Maybe?
And yeah, taking a look at where they are, it does qualify as core / like it's an inner rim kind of thing.
Yeah. Koba will talk the talk to you streetwise instead.
All right, I have garbage for anything resembling knowledge, so... Oh my gosh, I forgot the R.
Yeah, you didn't do worse. Well, you did, but you didn't do worse than me. I don't know. Not sure how that falls out.
All right.
So Hillary on lore is 2 fail, 2 advantage. Just,
You said knowledge, right?
yeah, just knowledge.
all
core
of
worlds.
my knowledge are all the same, so it was irrelevant which knowledge I roll. I have 2 greens in every single knowledge.
But if you were to roll against the pertinent knowledge, it would technically be an all dice cancel out. Because if you did a knowledge core, it would have been 2 purple.
Oh. Okay, well then.
But if we just
I've
knock
got
off the last
nothing.
one, it's still.
Okay.
We're doing knowledge rolls for figuring out things. If you're doing a knowledge core worlds, it is a 2 purple, 1 setback. And if you're doing any other knowledge, however you're wanting to apply it, it is 3 purple. Though weirdness could be made for knowledge warfare, but
What about knowledge lore?
That's the hard one.
yeah, knowledge lore would be a hard one.
That's
Okay.
what I did, and it didn't go particularly well.
Hard as in 3 purple?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I don't think I have anything else that can help that. But it's the best I got. Hey, 2 successes!
Better than me, sweets.
I mean, it would make sense that, either Kesh or Koba might know something, right?
Why don't the 4 of you describe how you're sort of settling up for discussing what you know about Jaro? Actually, could I get Ren toss in a boost die? Like, just roll a boost die. Please.
Got 1 advantage then.
All right.
Was that a box boost?
No, that was a boost from the astrogation.
Oh.
Describe the 4 of you coming up to, I'm guessing, the lounge area after the fight, and sitting down, starting to talk about Jaro.
I feel like we probably need to start off with Hillary or Skip, since they have...
That does make sense.
Hillary will be setting the places for dinner. Drinks here, Kesh prefers a larger tumbler, it's stuff like that, very domestic. So, what exactly happened when I left? They had a fight?
Yeah, it was definitely a fight. There was a lot of paint.
Paint?
Mhm.
Like the paint Kesh was using for her armor.
Yep.
So
It got really messy.
wasn't like a shouting match? It was...
Oh no, they were going all back and forth.
And then it came to blows?
Yeah, but it was, like friendly blows. Sorta.
Uh-huh.
So, I didn't know all that much about where it was that we were going. So, I dug around a little bit at the information that was available on the ship. And basically Skip at that point just recounts the, space Wikipedia page about this planet. The most basic of basic information.
Well, I've never really been out this way. We traveled mostly with freighters because they always had space. But I've heard tell a little bit about the people and the planet. And Hillary, what little Hillary would know would come from overhearing things. From spacers and places, wherever. So, Hillary's advantage is that his hearsay means that he can maybe kind of narrow in on useful information? Question mark?
So, I don't think we're going to have to bundle up too much, because it's sort of average temperature-wise. They have really neat eyes.
The better to see you with, I'm sure.
Ooh, I wonder if that's true.
That's what eyes are for, Skip.
Yeah, but I thought you were making some sort of allusion to their eyes being kind of
I was
better than ours or something, and that maybe they could even,
making
see
an
at night.
allusion to a story I used to tell my children. It's fine. Sorry for the confusion.
Oh, that's fine. And we all saw the really neat, sort of cities on bridges and such. And that's about all I got. A lot of mountains.
Any supplementary for Hillary, Ben?
Hillary had gotten...
Two advantage. Largely useless.
The best that I can come up with is, as Hillary has gone throughout the galaxy, Hillary has encountered a few Nemoidians, the old school ones, but mostly they're the older ones. Ones that definitely would have been alive and, in business before the Clone Wars. The ones that of who came of age after the Clone Wars, the younger ones, you've always noticed are very hard workers, but they will work up exactly to what the position or the contract states and will not go further. There's no way that you can cheat them of doing anything more than that. They will work exactly to their contract limits, and they will not go any further. The other thing that you've found is that once you are in the group, you are in the group. But unless you get in the group, they're pleasant-ish, but they are very...
Insular?
Yeah, very insular. That's been your experience with working with Nemoidian hands, otherwise.
Okay.
The one who tagged along for a few worlds, on the first world, they just did their work and that was it. When it looked like they were going to tag on for a season of travel, after the first planet, they were pretty helpful. It was very much a you help me, I help you kind of thing. Sort of trading in favors, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if that's how it is on the planet, but that's how you've experienced the people out in the galaxy.
Gotcha. Well, I don't have a lot of experience with them myself, to be fair. I didn't travel with many. They seem to be very conscientious of agreements. And when you're part of that agreement, they'll work with you very, very well up until the end of it. They don't leave the contract box, if you know what I mean. But they're pretty... The ones that I've met have been pretty, friendly, in a very business-like kind of way. Back-scratching and all of that. It's kind of like a balance.
All right. There's probably going to be a fair amount of Imperials there.
That's not ideal. But we'll be on our best behavior, right?
Did somebody say something about Imperials? Kesh is gonna say as she walks into the room. Still drying off.
Yeah. So I'm trying to sort out whether or not it's smarter to hide the box really, really well and bring it along in my bag, or hide it really well on the ship.
That's a tough question. Either one presents risks. There's a chance that Imperial authorities might search the ship or decide to search our persons if we give them reason to.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking, because you know how they were trying to find it on the ship before, and they didn't find it, and we found it because we're way better at finding things.
Mm-hmm.
We could put it back where we found it before.
That's not a bad idea, as long as we can get back to the ship.
You know, I bet Koba might have an idea or a thought on this, because Koba is really good at finding things, and so maybe Koba would know how to hide things better.
Koba's probably found something like this before. Perhaps it was under a staircase. There was a body laying on the top floor, and the blood dripped slowly down. And out the window it was raining, and there was something flashing.
Are you trying to be Koba right now?
No, I'm not trying to be Koba. I'm just trying to figure out what the situation will be.
Okay.
Maybe there's a, how do you say it? A femme fatale. Kesh, look dramatic for a moment.
I am not femme fatale material. Not these days.
I appreciate where everybody's head is at. But Koba comes in. He's still wearing his heavy clothing because that's the change of clothes he has. Even though it's now haphazardly painted red, though it looks like he has largely been able to scrub the paint off of himself. Save for some odd splotches here and there that he's missed. It's definitely risky having the holocron on us.
But if it's on us, then we can defend it if it comes to it.
But if we don't have it, it gives us a bargaining chip if anybody does corner us. If we have it on us, they just take it and kill us.
Fair point. All right, I think you're going to hide the holocron then.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about actually getting onto Jorah. I've had business with some Nemoidians before. Granted, it's been a long while. Things were a bit different back during the Clone Wars, but if we can count on one thing, it's a place of business. We don't have a lot of resources. I mean, we have a lot of junk in the cargo holds. We might have to sell some of it. At least cover docking fees, things like that. We might have to make some deals to, move around the city.
Koba talked the talk and got 3 successes and a threat on about Catanomoidia.
Well, and also Jorah itself. Between the two of you, like Kesh, this actually could serve no from Kesh's history on Catanomoidia, but Jorah is the landing city of the Republic during the Clone Wars. This is where the base of the Republic forces were. This is where the insurgency was the highest, and the distrust between the Republic and the people were. It's transitioned from being the core of the Republic presence to the core of the Imperial presence on the planet. It's not the actual capital, per se, of the planet, but it's the headquarters of the Imperial presence. It's a big enough place that it has all the city amenities, from things like prisons, and like it's a bridge city, so their prison is relatively hard to get into. Mm-hmm. It's doable, but you gotta work at it. Catanomoidia had been one of the purse worlds of the Nemoidian Trade Federation. this is where a lot of money flowed, and this is where a lot of trade flowed. This is also where a lot of droids got built.
Yeah.
Like, this was one of the losing cities and one of the losing planets of the Separatist War. So the Imperial presence started off, like, this is where Imperial presence started, really. So Nemoidians have definitely looked at what they have done to cause this and have done their best to step back from what you and Cash have been able to find out. With the way the Separatists were, considering who was running the Republic forces, it may not be quite the same outside of Jorah, but inside the city, they still do remember that it was the Jedi running the Republic forces. They are none too keen of it on account of the stuff that has happened before.
Well, given Jorah was the primary Republic base on Cato Nemoidia back during the war, it makes sense that this is where word came to and might have left our next breadcrumb. The potential issue is, with the heavy Imperial presence, anything he did leave might be in their custody.
The Empire definitely has an interest in scooping up anything left by the Jedi, at least to keep it out of the hands of anyone who might oppose them. We'll be lucky if whatever we're looking for is even still on the planet at all.
I unfortunately agree. And I'm not sure how the local populace is going to react to us either.
Well, we probably don't want to walk in talking about all of our lightsabers and force powers at the very least. But maybe, enemy of my enemy, etc.
Yeah. How do you think we go in, Koba? What's our cover story, as it were?
Skip has kind of like an intake of breath.
A ship like this, easiest way is antiquities traders. Nothing hot or of great interest, just a few odds and ends we've picked up at other markets.
I haven't been on many Imperial-controlled worlds in the last few years. How do you think they'll react to armored weapons?
Well, we're not going to want to openly carry anything too heavy at the very least.
All eyes point to Skip.
Yeah, but, I mean, you did, just, test us with the smaller blasters. But also, and Skip is having some mental flashbacks to Force visions. Antiquities dealer sounds like a really good plan, obviously, but, there is a thing that we've used before that worked out pretty well, and, Hillary has some really convincing clothing, and, it would make sense for us to be carrying prop weapons and things if we were theater troupe again.
You want to explain to Imperial Customs why we have, everything we have in this ship if we're a theater troupe? They'll scan our cargo, we have to assume that.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
No. You're both right. But if you think about it, when we were on Arbuine, I was a speculative investor. Perhaps this is what I'm using to speculate with.
Antiquities.
Yes, it's a fine hobby. Much the same as ship model building, just older.
Who models ships?
Well, I think then you're probably maybe the boss or negotiator. Koba, I think that makes you the captain.
Great.
Hired on, say, a pilot and a bodyguard.
Skip, if you want to try and, dirty up that rifle of yours, make it look a little out of date, we can try the prop weapon thing.
I've already got some ideas for where to hide the rifle on the ship. Not a big deal.
It also could be, instead of props, if we're dealing in antiquities, make it look like an antique. Maybe take something out of it, that way it's not functional. And then something you could add back to it later on.
Yeah, whatever you all think is best.
That was a good idea, Skip. Well, if that's our plan, we've got a little bit of time left. I think I'll do the dishes and retire for the night, if you all don't mind.
Makes sense for all of us to get a little rest.
I'll help you, Hillary.
I do have a step stool, thank you.
Just let me help.
Okay. You can grab the plates, I'll get the mugs.
Skip just silently walks out.
Yeah, Koba heads for his cargo bay.
As they start doing the dishes, Kesh is going to look down at Hillary on his step stool. Probably has like 3 steps to it so we can reach the sink.
It's actually just a chair with a step stool in front of it. So I use the step stool to get onto the chair and then I stand on the chair.
Okay, that works. I'm sorry about what happened with Markov between us. You're not always right, but I've been thinking about it more. And I think you were in this instance.
He takes whatever dish you're offering and he starts kind of wiping it down silently. And he sighs and sets it down to be rinsed. And then looks up at you and says, I don't know anything, Kesh.
Then that makes 2 of us. But I'd like to think we make a pretty good team. Maybe we need to work on our communication skills a little bit more between one another, but I don't plan on going anywhere. I was angry before. I'm still figuring everything out.
Well, this is not what you'd call a standard circumstance, so much the same, Kesh. Much the same. I am glad that you are here with me, and that you will be.
She nods, passes you the next plate.
He continues washing and starts to hum to himself.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Heroes of the Hydian Way. You can find show updates on Twitter at The Hydian Way, and you can find me, Ben, on Twitter at Deuterium Ice.
I am Brandon, and you can find me on Twitter at Blue of the Ken, and you can find my Star Trek Adventures actual play, Endeavor Through the Maelstrom, of which Christine is part of the cast, at Endeavor Show.
I am Leslie at LesletGS. I believe in no other shows that I participate in.
You can find me at 12th Night. That's 12th Night with a K.
And you can find me at Atomic Firebird.
We are all at thehydianway.com, where you can find previous episodes.
You can find more episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Plus, you can help us out by rating, reviewing, and subscribing.
We are also on Facebook as The Hydian Way, and you can holocom us at heroes@thehydianway.com.
If you like what we do and you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/thehydianway.
Or you can send the team some calf at ko-fi.com/thehydianway. So, sorry, I'm like totally thrown off by the fact that we've done this one before and I have it right in front of me.
Have we?
Yeah, we did it in Prologue 3.
That was a long time ago.
I'd like to point out that it's perfectly fine. Your answer as given is also perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Skip does trail off a lot.
Yeah, okay, let's just trail me off.
Yeah.
There we have it.
All right, then. My players, I tell you.
I'm not Gudge's voice.
Well, to be fair, at this point, we've all been Gudge's voice. At least once.
We are Gudge.
Wash.
Yeah.
Gotta love a good wash.
I mean, I need that wash after getting painted on.
Sorry, I think of Bryan Adams, I immediately think of Three Musketeers. So that's what? Bryan Adams,
Sting and Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart was the name I was trying to find. It's all for one. And all for love.
For love.
Oh, that's going to be in my head for the next 3 days.
You're welcome.
Oh, see, I was thinking Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, but that's a different guy, right?
No, that's still Bryan Adams.
Still Bryan Adams? Okay.